Hello there, this is Cheryl Lentz, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, talking on Tuesday at 5. So I had appointments today, so I thought I would come on a little bit later. So sorry about that if you were waiting at 2. I did put a warning note out this morning, but I'm playing with the two-tone Flora bundle. This is another item that is from the new mini catalog that's coming up, and it's so fun. It's so much fun. So I bought the suite. I think that the jewels that I used on the card the other day went with this, but I'm using some of the new shimmer paper. I have 3 cards to show you, but I thought what I would do today, I hadn't played with any of the flowers. See, it's a floral set. I was playing with the dies and not necessarily the stamps. So I thought that today I would go on, put the stamps on the blocks and then do some two-tone stamping, because hence the name two-tone floral. And guess what the dies are called? Two-tone Flora dies. So a great set of dies. This particular one gives a, hi Cindy, I hope your day went well. This particular one is very detailed. So I used it a number of times, and I'll give you a couple of tips with using that too. So it's lots of fun. So I'm going to turn the camera around. We're going to play first, and then at the end I'll show you the it's the cards that I made. I'll show you the cards I made, and we'll see what you think. So just with the dies alone. So that was kind of fun. So I love when they have the 2-step stamping. We get to 3 steps and it's like, oh boy. But 2 steps I just totally love. It's just much easier. And sometimes you can use the same color, just stamp off, and there's all kinds of tricks you can do. So let's get started. I'm just going to play if that's good with you. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Welcome. You're joining me now. You're joining me later. You're joining me on YouTube. Let me know where you're watching and where you're watching from and when you're watching. So I'm going to turn this around. I have stuff stuck all over my jacket. Here we go. So close your eyes if this bothers you. We're going to take a trip down to the messy desk. But it's a good thing it's messy because I was doing a lot of playing. Lots of playing. Let's see here if it's going to start keep wandering here on me. For some reason, I don't know why all of a sudden it keeps moving around. I think I have that tight enough now. Let's see where it wanders to, and I'll just follow it with my paper. There we go. Okay. All right. Hello, Gail. All right, so here we go. Here's this wonderful stamp set. Here are the wonderful dies. The two-tone floral dies going with the two-tone Flora set. So in this set, if you buy the suite, then I also had, and this is the paper. So this reminded me of when we were in Paris and seeing all the artists. Just beautiful, beautiful colors, and it's just gorgeous. So, ta-da. And look at, even into the browns and the, deep green and the soft suede and just so many different things. Lots of opportunity here to do some beautiful work. So what I'm going to, so I already have some all chopped up. You can see that. That's what I was doing earlier. So I am going to put the stamps on. So everybody has their own way of doing things, right? So what I like to do, I generally, well, it depends on how light the background is. So your background is the solid color, right? This accent piece is generally the darker color because it's going to accent this one, right? So it depends on how light the background is. If the background is super light, I might go ahead and stamp the dark outline first and then line that up over it. These are photopolymer, of course. It just depends on that. But you have 1, 2, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different flowers. So here's a little grouping of the little flowers, and here's the centers. And then each of the big ones, you know, just has 2, and then here's one little one. So I'm gonna put them on the blocks. I have a lot of blocks. This tells you I have way too many blocks. I have enough blocks for all of the flowers, and I have some left over. So I'm going to start out with the bigger ones here, and just line this up. So here's my solid piece. So the solid one is always going to be your background color, okay? So I'm just lining that up like that, and then here's my accent piece where it's going to have all the little lines on it. And I'm looking at the center of the flower and just having it straight up. When you put it on, just kind of keep that in mind when you're putting it on your blocks. Line it up somehow without even marking it, just to know that at least they're going in the right direction, right? Okay, so that's that one. Here's the second one. So I'm going to line this one up like this. So I'm just going to stick them all on the blocks, and then we'll start stamping away. Try some different colors and see what happens here. Let's see, here's this one. Yeah, so, and then there's dies to cut all these out, of course, which will make it really nice. So the thing is that, you know, if you have, you're cutting out flowers, you generally will do like 3, you know, odd numbers, right? So it's kind of nice that you have this many different flowers that you can stamp with, and still not have to do the same flower twice. You know, like you could cut out all 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and then you have your, I think that this is the way it's going to go. We'll see when I try to get it on there. And you could have all of your flowers done without having to like double stamp. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have to double stamp. You're going to just stamp the same thing, and then stamp all 5 of them, or whatever you want to do, 3 of them, and have it all done. So here is, wait a minute, something is not right here. Let's see here. That one goes with that one. Here, I'm looking to see how many. So this little tiny one goes with this one. This one goes with this one. Okay. Oh, here. That's right. All right. I did it wrong. Here we go. This one goes with this one. I was like, wait a minute. Something is not right here. This one can go here, and then this is for the center with all the little mini flowers. So there we go. Okay. And then you have some additional little tiny flowers that you could like fill in around your bouquet, and then leaves. So you have this one spray of leaves, which I used on one of the cards, and then you have just the little 2 leaves, which is nice just to like tuck under a flower and add some dimension if you're going to pop some of your flowers up. So now let's talk about color. So in this particular grouping, there's so many colors. There's Balmy Blue, Basic Gray, Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Night of Navy, Orchid Oasis, Pool Party, Soft Seafoam, Soft Suede, and Soft Succulent. Wow. And that's just, you know, a suggested number, right? There's probably more that will go with it. So let's start out with a Daffodil Delight, and maybe put on a Calypso Coral with it. So here's my Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to use that in my background. Now I haven't stamped with these at all, so beware. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I'm just sort of, it's not winging it on Wednesday, but I'm winging it on Tuesday here. So let's get a Calypso Coral, or we could try, if we wanted to just go a shade darker, let me just try Mango Melody. We can always do it again with another color. What I like to do with these is put down a whole bunch of colors, then write it down, what colors I used. And I would keep it in my folder with the stamp set. So when I pull it out to make some different flowers, if I spend my time playing, then I can figure out, you know, what looks best and what I want to do here. So I'm just going to kind of hover over. Let's see here if I have it in the center. I'm going to hover over the top, I guess. What I'm looking at is the center here, that's white, and then the center here. See if I can line that up and see how it looks. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure how to line it up, so bear with me, folks. Let's see what it looks like. Ta-da! Not so bad. Might be off just a hair, but that's pretty close. So I would say that's not one that I would tend to use. I like it to be a little bit more of an accent. So let's put this back. Where is it? Where does it go? Over here. And let's do another daffodil. Where are you? Oh, how can I stamp it once and lose it? Okay. So that's the one with the mango melody. There we go. And instead, let's try Calypso Coral. That's what I had initially said, just to, because I know those two colors are included in that grouping. So here we go. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I like that combination. Now I'm going to try to stamp it with the darker and just see if it's easier to line up, if it looks any different when I line it up here. These are fun to just play with. So now I can kind of see a little bit more where it's all going. So it lines up easier for me that way. So if I put the dark down first, it lined up a little bit better than here. See, I'm off a little bit. It's like when you buy that fabric that's like a little bit cheaper and the print is just slightly off. That's what that would be. So I kind of like, I like that combination. So that's Calypso and Daffodil. But let's pull out some more and try some other colors. So what I was thinking was the Balmy Blue. Do I have my Balmy Blue here? I think I used it in class. Okay, so let's go with here, the Orchid Oasis. And let's go with the, let's see here. Let's see what I like. I don't like that. Let's try just double stamping. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off. So I'm going to take, again, I'm going to take the accent piece, the one that has all the lines on it instead of the solid pattern. This is the next smaller flower, and I'm just going to stamp that here. Ta-da. And then I'm going to take this one. Not sure if I have it lined up right. So this is the solid one, but I'm going to stamp off on this one. So it'll be one shade lighter. And then, so there's a little, like a little teardrop, like this shape here, that little raindrop or teardrop there. And I think that's where you line it up. There. Ta-da. Ooh, that's pretty. So the same color. So you don't have to have a ton of different colors. You can use some different colors. And that's just the Orchid Oasis, which would go with a lot of that paper. Let's see here. Let's try. So it has Night of Navy in it also. So here's my Night of Navy. Let's try a Highland Heather with Night of Navy. So I'm going to go with the dark first. I know that most people will tell you to do it opposite, but for me, it's just easier for me to see that line and then to line it up. So here's my Night of Navy. with all the lines. And then we're gonna go with Highland Heather, which is lighter, and put that right over the top. And on this one, there's a little curly Q here at the top of the flower. And I see that's what's white here on here too. So I think that's what you line up. There we go. Ta-da. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Deeper, darker. Kind of fun. Let's see here. We could do one with just, well, here. Let's put that back. Let's just keep trying different combinations. I wish I had my blue here, but I think I used it in class. Okay, so we have another flower here. So some of the other colors. The Tahitian is a little bright. Let's try the Calypso double. We'll double up on the Calypso. How's that? So I'm going to go with the next flower. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. This one here. So I'm going to go with the darker one first. This is just Calypso. There. And then this one I'll stamp off. And there's little circles in the center of the flower, and that's what you're lining up here. Ta-da. But let me try one more thing, because sometimes you can use it. So here's the dark. Now if I go in again with the same color, leave it dark, but you're going to have 2 layers of ink. Does that make sense? You're going to have 2 layers of ink. Instead of stamping it off, I just want to see how it would look. Now I'm going to let that dry and see if it looks any different when we get it going here a little bit more. And let's see here. I think I'm going to have to, let me just see if I have my balmy blue over here. I'm going to try to find it. Where's the balmy blue? Oh, let's see here. Here's one. Oh, that's cool. Oh, spit. No. Well, I don't have a balmy blue. Sorry. It's being used in class, so I can't do the blue. But let's see here. Let's see here. Here's another yellow. How about crushed curry and pumpkin pie? So that wouldn't necessarily go with these, but I'm going to do pumpkin pie for my little lines here, because that's a little bit darker. This is the one that has multiple flowers on it. They're like in the center. I'm going to go sideways. And let's see if this works. We'll try it. We'll try it and see what happens. So I'm just lining up the little circles in the flowers. Ta-da! I think it would look better with this stamped off. Crushed curry might be a little bit too dark. Let's do that. Let's ink up with crushed curry again and stamp off and see what we get here. There. Ta-da. Oh, that's pretty. It almost looks like well, it's stamped off. It's a little bit darker than the Daffodil Delight, right? It has a little more orangey tones to it than the Daffodil Delight. Now I have one more flower here to go. Let's see here. And let's use a Starry Night and the Orchid Oasis. So Starry Night will be our dark color. Starry, Starry Night. I just love that one. Here we go. So here's Starry Night. So what you need to do is just get all of them out like this, and then just play with all the colors. See what you like. Not necessarily that it has to match. And I'm going to stamp this one off because I don't want it to be too dark. There. And again, this has like a little flower in the center, and that matches the solid piece. So that's what I'm lining up. That looks pretty together. Let's see if it would look good dark. We'll try it. We'll try it one time here. Here's the dark. See if it's too dark, then you can't see it. But yeah, it's a lot harder to line up that way. So when it dries, it looks a little bit better, but I think that's not the way I would stamp off like this one. I think it looks pretty. So very fun. Fun colors. We can go off the beat here. We don't have to do the colors that they have in here. I would like these little tiny flowers to be blue. Then they remind me of little blue forget-me-nots. But let's go with a Poppy Parade. And let's see, what do we want to use to darken it up? Maybe we'll go with the Orchid Oasis. So we'll do the Orchid Oasis as the dark one. Just try something different. So here's my lines, my accent lines there. And then here's my Poppy Parade, kind of a different color combination. And I'm not going to stamp it off. I'm just going to try it like this. I'm lining up the little center. That's kind of cool. That would be okay. This almost looks like violets. I like this. So this is the same colors, just stamped off. Let's try that with the Poppy Parade. I think Poppy Parade is so pretty. That's the Santa's Express. Instead of using real red, it was all, the red was Poppy Parade. Did you know that? It just gives it a little bit different look. So I'm going to stamp off. So I have Poppy Parade on there, and then I have it stamped off. That's pretty. Yeah. All right. Kind of fun. So this is the two-tone Flora. You can purchase this, if you are not a demonstrator, you can purchase it after January 5th and have lots of fun with it. So now I'll have to make up some cards using these. But I'm going to show you the cards that I did do. So I used this die on a number of them. So what comes with this suite also are some shimmer paper. And here are the 3 colors. So there's gold shimmer, soft seafoam shimmer, and the fresh freesia. So you have these colors of this shimmer paper. It's a little bit heavier. So what I would suggest, if you're going to use this intricate die, you want to use, first of all, either if you're using regular cardstock or designer paper or this shimmer paper on this very detailed item, I would suggest using our adhesive sheets. You have to. I mean, it would be impossible to glue it on without that. But in saying that, knowing that that if you're using heavier regular cardstock or the shimmer paper, you're going to want to run it through a couple of times, okay? Then I used my brush with my pad, and then I brushed it through and got off as much as I could. Then I used, so you're going to notice on here that it doesn't cut the edge. So the edge is going to be just like it shows on here. And this is 4 by 5.5. So it's bigger than your card. It's the same size as your card front. So if you were doing a card front and just wanted to put this on there, you would cut it, and it would cover the entire front of your card. But like I said, it's very detailed. So it takes a little bit of time. once you get that done, you run it through twice and you get that done, you get off all the extras that you can. I took my pickup tool and I went on the edges here and started pulling it off. It's very delicate in here, so you want to be very careful when you're removing it. Now you could remove it and then you could cut out some of this and just go with like a partial, like this is the ones down at the bottom are a little more solid. So you could just kind of go with a partial and cut the rest of it off if you wanted. I mean, there's different things, but I'll show you what I did. So the very first card I made this one. So on this one, I used the Fresh Freesia shimmer paper and the background. So this was cut 5 1/4 by 4. So that's my layering piece. And then I used some of the beautiful DSP and I cut out this flower pattern, right? So it's all the way through here. But what I did, especially to adhere it onto, even using the adhesive sheet, because this is not just a flat, smooth surface, there's some texture to it, I laid it on there and then I ran it through my cut and emboss machine. So I got a solid pressure to make sure everything was glued down and pressed down as well as I could get it. And then I used this one is the Treasured Tags Pick-a-Punch. And so I used that for my my tag punch here. And I used on all of them, excuse me, on all of them, I used this adhesive back sequence and gems. These are from the holiday catalog. So gorgeous. I kind of overloaded on them, but because I just think they're so pretty. So they match on here. That's something that'll probably be going out. So if that's something you like, make sure you get it ordered now. And then I used a piece that was left over on the inside. I am using on all of them. This is a celebration set that's absolutely gorgeous. It's called Sending Support, and it's all support messages. So some days are harder than others. Hope Today is one of the easier ones. Sending loving thoughts and prayers, good luck. It's okay not to feel okay. There are many ways you might feel right now. Alone shouldn't be one of them. Here for you always. You've got this. My shoulder is yours. And courage is being really scared and doing it anyway. So really, really a great stamp set. And because this is so intricate and you want so much of this to show, I love that it's just a little tiny verse. And that's all you need. I did go with the darker colors, so I used the Orchid Oasis ink on here so that was a little bit darker. So that's the first one I did. All right. Then I did this one. So on this one, you can see on the shimmer paper, I used the Soft Succulent shimmer paper on the top, and then I used just the plain DSP on the bottom. So I cut the shimmer paper 5 by 3 3/4, and then I cut it out so that it didn't have any sides. So some of this didn't come out as much, but it really doesn't matter. I think it looks fine, without. So you have most of it. The bulk is down here. Like I said, this has more bulk to it, and this is very intricate. But then this is the cutout die. This comes with the set. Here it is. But because this background had some yellow in it, I took my dark, I think it's the dark, or I took the light. I took the light So Saffron, and I colored in the center of my flowers. Very, very light, or my leaves. Very, very light, but just so it brings that yellow that you see in the background kind of to the forefront too. So there we go. There's that one. Again, I used a piece of the leftover that I had cut because you're only going to get one out, but you're going to get lots of pieces that you can use other places because this paper is 6 by 6. So, and then I used the Soft Succulent bow here that I happened to have on my desk. So that worked out really good. Let's see here. So that's that one. And then the last one I did is actually my favorite one. So I didn't use that die. I just used the paper. So I used this gold shimmer paper, which I love, love, love. I used soft suede as my ink color instead of I thought about using the evening evergreen, but I wanted it a little softer. So that's what I used. And then I used a different punch. Let's see here. I used this one right here. So this is the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. And so that's what I used for my labels here. And then I popped up this top layer, these two pieces here. I have Evening Evergreen behind. I have Soft Succulent as the base of the card, just to pull in that little color. I did fussy cut this, so I would get the main flowers out of here. Let me show you let's see if I can find one to show you what it looked like without, because it's so cool. So here's the whole piece. So I just wanted this main piece down the center here. So that's what I did. And then I did a 4 1/4 by 11, or yeah, 4 1/4 by 11. So I have it open this way. I used the leftover piece that I cut off on this card in the inside. So it just kind of blends. This would make a beautiful sympathy card too. So those are the cards that I did to show you. So it's kind of interesting, these two. I'm going to just bring them a little closer to see. So you can see the shimmer background, and it's like, it is really sparkly and beautiful versus the shimmer on top. So it's just kind of whichever look. I will tell you, it was probably easier to do the designer paper with the detailed cut than it is the heavier paper. But really, you can do either or. So I just wanted to use all three of the colors. I should put this here so I don't have the two greens together, but there we go. I just thought this print in particular was so beautiful. So now my job before Friday will be to come up with some cards using what I stamped here today. Using some of these flowers and leaves and maybe some of the pretty background. We'll have to see what matches up, but there you go. So that's my thing for today. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Maybe I'll end up doing more of the flowers tomorrow. Once I get it all out on my desk, it's hard to put it away and do something different. So there you go. And here, I mean, I did a bow here. You don't always have to do a bow. If you just have little clippings and you keep the little pieces of ribbon, just that little bit of ribbon softens it up and gives it a little more interest and kind of anchors that so it's not just kind of floating in the middle of your card. With this one, I used the same jewels, but instead of spreading them around like I normally do, I just kind of lined them up and anchored it on this side. So that's my thoughts. That's what that's what I was thinking anyhow. So I hope y'all like them. I am going to, hello Kay, hello Gail. Let me turn the camera around here. All right, oops, come on back around. There we go. Okay. Ooh, my camera is tilty. It wants to tilt. All right. So that's what I have for you today. Please join me tomorrow. I have class all day tomorrow, so I will be here at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll see what I come up with. I don't know. Maybe I'll pull up a different new one. Probably do. Sorry, another phone call. Potential spam. All right. Take care. Have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow at 2. Thank you. Bye-bye.